You know, when you tell someone that you work on music from the Depression, you know, they say, boy, you need a drink, you need a rest. This is not depressing music. I mean, this is this optimism squared. My name is Tom Naples. I'm a folk singer and researcher. Most of what I have researched over the last 10 years, 8 years, has been music and poetry and writing from the Great Depression. I've always been interested in history, and I think that the Great Depression was, in a lot of ways, America's finest hour. What strikes me about it is in one word, is resiliency. Is that the people were so resilient. Picking that cotton on my knees, Lord, I ain't gonna be treated this way. The last few years, I've pretty much had no permanent address. I pretty much just travel around. So in terms of the Depression, the Great Depression, and the Dust Bowl, I've spent a lot of time in the Southwest, and I've driven down Route 66 a few times. I've gotten pretty immersed into it, dangerously so sometimes. There was a Great Depression. There was a collapse of our credit system. And then there was the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl would have happened anyway. They started this massive westward homesteading, and they began planting cotton and wheat and ripping out the prairie grass. So when the drought hit in the 20s, everything died. Their roots wouldn't hold the soil, and the wind picked up the dust. Many were sharecroppers who had worked on someone else's farm, and they were thrown off because there was nothing to do. So they moved to California. Then we had to organize. Then we had to organize. 'Cause I ain't gonna be treated this way. When I got to California, it was a complete nightmare. It was kind of a nasty little trick to get 10 people for every one job to California so they could pay them pittance. The conditions were just, people sleeping on the side of the road. The Farm Security Administration, which was part of the New Deal, was a huge government agency. One of the things they did was create about 20 camps that were government-run camps. They were set up as really communal. They elected their own police force, made group decisions. There was a camp manager who just kind of oversaw it. And they were really incredibly decent places to live. So the government ran these, and these were safe places to do research. John Steinbeck went to the Weeds Patch camp and wrote The Grapes of Wrath there. So one of the things the Farm Security Administration did, and I think Roosevelt was really pushing it, is they wanted to document what was happening in the Dust Bowl and in the West. And the best, easiest place to do it was to go to the camps. They not only took thousands and thousands of photographs, they went in and recorded poems, songs. And this is where we have the Woody Guthries that nobody ever heard of. They just kind of vanished. They were good musicians, but they were farmers, and they were looking to find work. A lot of the songs that they wrote, which was very typical at the time, was they would just lift a melody from someplace else. And Woody Guthrie did that probably more than anybody. His most famous songs were traditional melodies. This Land Is Your Land was a song called Pal of Mine. They called the tents rag houses. And there's a song that was written by a man from Oklahoma named Jack Bryant. It's to the tune of I Don't Want Your Greenback Dollar.
I don't want your little rag houses. I don't want your navy beans. All I want is a greenback dollar for to buy some gasoline.
The written word and the songs that most of us as Americans know were written by Woody Guthrie and John Steinbeck. And no offense to either, but Steinbeck was a very famous novelist who went there to write a novel. And Woody Guthrie was already an established performer and songwriter who may have cared very deeply, I'm sure he did, but he went there and wrote songs. This Jack Bryant, he got blown off his farm. That's why he was there. He didn't make a conscious decision to go there. And I think that so many of these poets and songwriters, you just get a little different perspective. And I just think it's something that's very well worth listening to.
On the people of this land, Bye.